Alright, so now we're going to be burning through how to exploit the trusted relationship that we're going to set up. We have Ubuntu 2 is going to have a trusted relationship with Ubuntu 1, and our Kali attack box is going to attack that. Reminder for every one of these, this is on the cyber.org range. We have permission to do this. Don't play with fire with us. Okay. That being said, we're going to get into our, first thing we're going to do is make our machines. So I'm going to duplicate that tab, and then duplicate the tab, and then duplicate the tab, and the first thing we're going to do is get into our Kali, or our Ubuntu 2 box. And for now, we're actually going to set up password authentication, because this is not a trusted relationship. However, in order to pass the key it'll be better to have this set up. We're going to turn it off later. I'll show you how to do that. Cool. Control Shift V. Okay, so we're just going to replace anything that comes after password authentication with password authentication yes. And then we're going to get into our Ubuntu 1 box. So this is Ubuntu 2, second layer. Ubuntu 1 is going to set up a trusted relationship. So the first thing we're going to do in Ubuntu 1 is turn on password authentication for this, because we have to access this one to be able to exploit that relationship. So open this in terminal, turn password authentication on here, and we're not going to turn this off later. Okay. But now we're going to establish this trusted relationship. So what we're going to do is we're just going to SSH keygen, and we're going to leave it at that. Hit enter. Cool. You see where it puts it, which is in the SSH, and what it's going to call it. Good. We're just going to hit enter, because these are the defaults. We could password protect it. We're not going to. And we're not going to. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to share this keygen. So if you actually want to see what it looks like, you can just ls into your user account, SSH. So what we just did was this. We created a ID RSA. That's our private key. Don't give that out. Do not give that out. In fact, the entire point in this lab is to not give that out. And then the ID RSA pub, which you do give out if you need to or want to. And so we're going to share this with Ubuntu 2. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to SSH tech copy tech ID. Yep, just that. And we're going to, we could specify it, which I think we're just going to. Tab complete. Oh, this is why. No, I was thinking, oh, I don't have the TAC I. That's why. I'm not telling it what to do. That's why. Okay. There we go. Tab. If you tab like that, it'll help solve some problems. So what is this? 83,202. So 83,202. Okay. And yes, I do write things down because I have all this old man gray hair that you can see. Cool. Alright, now let's make sure we got that whole thing correct, and let's just, you know what, we're gonna move to try. So we just shared our public key with the authorized key location in Ubuntu 2. So Ubuntu 1 now has a trusted relationship with Ubuntu 2, as evidenced by being able to get right in without having a password, right? Because that is so much more convenient. There we go. Trusted relationship. Didn't have to type in a password. So now we're going to exploit that. Alright, so that is all we needed to do with Ubuntu 1. But now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the password authentication over here in Ubuntu 2 is actually off. Okay, well that almost worked. So we're going to turn that password authentication yes into a password authentication no. And then we're just going to test that. So back here, first time we're in Kali, so we set the environment up. First time we're in Kali, what we're going to do is we're going to open a terminal, and yes, I do like it on my desktop. Make it bigger. Cool. Probably do this too. Alright, so now I'm going to SSH into I'm going to attempt to SSH into Ubuntu 2. So yeah, that's cool. Okay, it needs a public key. Okay, good. So we're clear. We can't get into there from here. So what we're going to do is we're going to now get the key. Get the key to the castle. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to SSH. Oh, first things first. I don't really care how you do this. I'm going to do the dirty trick way. That is, I don't know. If you want to do this on the range, totally fine. The idea that you get burned by it, pretty few and far between. But I'm actually going to turn password authentication into my Kali box on. And you'll see why now. So I'm going to SSH into the Ubuntu 1 box. $127.49. Okay, yeah. Junk mail. That's what it's good for. And just because it's like easier to do this way, what I'm going to do is send that back to myself, the key. So I want that private key. So I'm just going to CD over to SSH, and I'm going to see what I have here. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to SCP this ID RSA over to my Kali box, back to myself here, right? At 10.15, 117, 192, And then I'm going to put that, oh, you know, before I do all this, just because I'm going to do this dirty too. Alright, before I do that, what I should do is find out where this lives completely. Get the working directory, because that's going to be important. Alright, so back to sure. Get out of here. Alright, so back to where I was. And so what just happened there is I pasted a command and it automatically tried to get, so posted. Alright. Alright, whatever. So when I did that home directory, I'm going to do this cleanly so you can see it. So now I'm going to SEP the ID to my Kali at home Kali, because I'm not Ubuntu, SSH. Looks good. Fire for effect. Password. Okay. So now this looks to be good to go. Last thing I'm going to do here is make the attempt to here to SSH into this final box without with the key that I now have. So if I SSH over into Ubuntu at alright, we're in. Dope. Cool, cool. Alright, that's part A. Okay, now what we're gonna do is going to be relatively simple. So I'm gonna drop this terminal over here. I'm just gonna exit out of this. I'm gonna Control L, and now I'm gonna literally. Okay, so what we just did was we took the private key from Ubuntu 1 and we put it in our. And we put it in Kali's keygen. Now what we're going to do is we are going to shift and we're going to create a key that gets us directly into Ubuntu 2. Alright, so that's the next step, and we'll stop the recording here and go on.